In May of last year, Mr. Jack Keys retired after 10 years as county manager. Indeed, he still is a very busy man, and I have him here today as he's in his role as chairperson of Cavan Age Friendly County Alliance. Jack, you're very welcome here to our studio here in Cavan Crystal.
Thank you. And congratulations on your new studio.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we're quite excited about the things we will be doing here in the future. And I'm after taking you away. You've had the dinner down there. And as I say, it's the Age Friendly Recognition Achievements Award ceremony in Cavan today. And I'd like you to talk about the developments that have come on in Cavan that Age Friendly has done in County Cavan, for example.
Yeah, well, we were invited a number of years ago to be one of the first counties to start this initiative, and in my role as county manager it was a no-brainer to me because of the numbers of people who are reaching older age, and I'm an older person myself now. I'm 61. A huge cohort of our county is and will be in the older persons category, and so there's a huge amount of opportunities for us as a county. It struck me, not that we have to be worried all the time about nursing homes and about hospitals, but look, think about all that talent that's out there and all that experience and all that wisdom, and then think on the other hand about all of the problems we have in society. Surely we can get people to contribute more, and they are contributing greatly in their communities and in the organisations they're part of, but in a more structured way. So to cut a long story short, we were lucky that we had a great number of older persons groups here, and we went to them and said, look, what do you want in the county? And they organised surveys and sessions with the older people of the county, and a list of things came back to the council about what was needed, and we put that into a strategy. So we started at the bottom and we brought it to the top. The agencies such as the HSE and the Garda Síochána, the GEA, ETB, they came on board as part of the initiative, and so we now have a multi-agency approach with the actions agreed. And the great thing about the actions in Cavan, and we're right in the middle of implementing them, is they're very practical and very simple, but they're very doable, and we're making great strides as a county, and we're only seeing the beginning of the whole initiative, really.
And just before I was speaking to you, O'Connor, and Hugh was saying that a lot of these things that have gone into place are simple ideas that are not very don't cost a lot to do, but simple and make life much simpler for people. Can we just talk about transport in Cavan? I did say to Hugh as well, some areas, like maybe people living in Bonboy, Swanland Bar, a long way from any town, people maybe on their own can be cut off from the counties. That's maybe where a lot of help is? It's
one of the major areas that there's a need for action is in the rural transport area, and there is a reasonable service in a sense, but it's never comprehensive enough. So the question is, what can we do? And you have to start thinking outside the box straight away, because it's not just about people wanting to come from Bonboy to Cavan, it's about people wanting to get to hospital. So how do you get to hospital? And then is there a local way that we can organise the available transport in a more efficient way? And there certainly is, and we're right in the middle of looking at that. And it's not just in rural Cavan. You can get parts of Cavan Town, for example, which is where older people are living a long way from the centre of the town and from shops, etc.
Even from the general hospital, you can see.
General hospital. So how do they get to the hospital? They're the sort of issues, and we're not saying we have all of the answers in one step, but small incremental things are being done. I came across a great example in Dublin, of all places. I was in a taxi recently, and the conversation got around to older people, and the taxi company there, they run a free taxi service between 10 and 12 for older people in their community. And I was saying, well, how can you, they said that's the slack time of the day for taxis. So what we do is we offer the free service, but we get huge kudos with the communities. All their families support us, and the rest of the time they're the sort of little tricks and little initiatives we're using. Give and you'll get sort of type of thing. But the age friendly, Cavan has been awarded today a certificate for becoming an age friendly town, and we're hoping that will spread to other parts of the county. And that just has involved a lot of work with the engineers, for example, on the footpaths. We've heard examples today of Carlow. A really interesting one came up where they want to put an older person's swing at the bus stop for older people. Now that's just they're the sort of ideas that are starting to come through right around the country.
And why not? And we speak, and indeed, as we know with our health service, and people are maybe retiring younger today, living longer, are healthier, are fit, and this so they can get out and about and do things. And I see that they're doing them for themselves as well.
Definitely. I mean, if you think about what opportunities are there for exercise for older people, both privately.
Positive age is big on the ground.
Absolutely, it's huge. And I mean, our sports partnership here have been focusing on older people in terms of trying to cater for them. Our businesses here have really shown great leadership, and they're finding now that if they can make their businesses age friendly, for example, you could have sales for older people. I think there's a great tourist opportunity for the county, bringing older people to Cavan. And I must say the hotels in particular have really become part of this idea, and you'll see that growing now over the next number of years.
And maybe with the introduction of broadband and things like that, we'll even make things a little bit more accessible to older people.
I have to pay tribute to the role of the ETB in this, because John Carney has headed up a subcommittee looking at the whole area of broadband and older people. And I know there are a certain cohort of older people who won't use broadband and who won't use ICT, and that's fine. Yeah. But you'll find that the numbers are decreasing, and more people. When we all started, we were all afraid of it, but it's the new machines are so simple to use. It's just a confidence thing, really. But he set up a committee that's really now looking at very innovative ways to provide courses to link younger people and older people, etc., to try and make people to make the whole thing more user friendly. And that's another initiative we're very proud of in Cavan.
And indeed, I see where the TY year of St. Pat's are bringing in older people and teaching them in computer skills, and that's to be admired and well done.
Yeah, I think there's two aspects to that. One is the actual skills they're teaching them, but the other thing it's creating is dialogue between the younger generation and older people. And sometimes that's lacking in society because we become so stratified. A lot of younger people are wrapped up with their own studies and with social media, etc. And you know, as a country, my experience of how we've treated older people is mixed, I have to say. I think in the past we clapped ourselves in the back and said we've always looked after our older people. But I had a lot of personal experience in the town I grew up in visiting an older person's home, and there were a lot of people there abandoned by their families. Once they got to a certain age, etc., they were beyond use. And I do think as a society it's something we have to really look in the mirror about how we are treating older people. Are they really part of our society? Are they playing a full role? And as I said earlier, if we do it, the payback to society and the payback to communities is just huge.
Yeah, indeed. You mentioned a very big thing there is, and you do hear some older people saying when you come to a certain age you are invisible. That's sad, and I don't like to hear that. But you did mention earlier that you talk about the talent that older people have to give to society. And I know of one man down there, Cahill, and Cahill took up his paintbrush. And he's doing wonderful art now from going to classes in his retirement. And there are talented people out there, and they're just to get an opportunity to do that is great. And this provides this for them as well, doesn't it?
It does. This provides the opportunity for them to do it, obviously as individuals, but particularly as a group, and to support each other, and you know, in terms of doing those things. Because when you think about when you're working in a job all your life, if you're a lucky person, you love the job and you like it, but there's certain aspects of it you don't like, and there's always these things you'd always want to have done. And there's a great opportunity then when you reach a particular stage in your life and you have the time to be able to go and do these things.
Possibly the money to do it, that you
and the
haven't
money,
before,
and you know, your passions, you can act them out at that stage, and it's great. Whereas if as a society we brand older people as useless, that is internalised by older people, and they start thinking, I'm old. When I was a young guy, when you were 60, you were old. Now, I don't certainly feel in any way old at 61. I'm still exercising every day. I've got loads of hobbies. I travel a lot, etc., etc. You know, it's a different time now, and hopefully, as I said earlier, you mentioned about older people in business. I mean, the number of older people starting businesses is growing all the time, and they have a lot of experience. And if they combine, in particular, with a younger person who has a lot of energy and is going to put in the long hours, just think of the power that experience can bring to a business. I think we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg here.
This is a really hard question. I'll end on this one. Of all the things we spoke about, you know, people out in the community doing business, their talents, and getting to do the internet, what would be the one great thing that you would like to see this do in general for most older people?
I think what I always say about that is that people have leadership qualities themselves, and they have abilities to go out and do different things. So rather than pick one particular example, what I'd like the initiative to do to older people is to give them the confidence to do what you've just said earlier on, to go and chase their passions, to not believe they're old and they're useless and their life is finished, but that life is really only beginning, and that every day is a huge gift to us all who wake up in the morning. Why not make the best of it and get out there and really enjoy it? And I think within families as well, you know, the role now that grandparents are playing, it's becoming, I suppose, since both parents are working in many cases, it is a very demanding role, but it is a very important role. But the relationship you have with your grandchildren, just think about the number of people who will say, I remember my granddad and he was so good to me, or whatever. I think now we're living longer, we've more time now with our grandchildren, and there's a great chance to forge a great relationship, and I think to pass on some of the wisdom that we have to the younger generation, and that's very valuable.
Fantastic stuff. That's great. Thank you for all your work that you've done in all the years in County Cavan, and your many initiatives that you've brought to County Cavan. And I'm glad to see that the age-friendly recognition is doing a lot for older people, because nobody wants to be invisible. Everybody wants to be happy, no matter what age they are. Thank you very much for talking to us today, Jack Keys.
Thank you, Áine. Thank you.